talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words micro, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 micro. Pure talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Cracker Barrel is making another U-turn. It's suspending plans to remodel its restaurants after criticism from many longtime fans. The announcement came 2 weeks after the restaurant chain backtracked on a separate plan to modernize and simplify its logo. The housing market is becoming more buyer-friendly after years of sharply rising prices. Prices are down or rising slowly, especially in the South and West. However, only 28% of homes are within reach of median income buyers. Ford is recalling almost 1.5 million vehicles in the U.S. because of problems with the rear-view camera. Stocks closed at record highs on Wall Street despite new jobs numbers. The Dow Industrials added 196 points, the Nasdaq was up 81, and the S&P 500 gained 17. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Greg Clugston.
News and analysis at townhall.com. A new law.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening, a low temperature dipping down to 59. Tomorrow, glorious. Sunshine-filled skies, a high temperature topping out at 84. We'll be in the mid-80s with our highs for the rest of the week. Lots of sunshine. No rain in the forecast. And we can look all the way ahead to next week. We'll be back up around 90 degrees every day the first half of the week with a lot of sunshine. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Good to have you with us on this Talking Tuesday edition of Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Our Talking Tuesday brought to you by Touchstone Energy Cooperatives. Find your co-op at touchstoneenergy.com. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and the plumber Josh Cohen. All with you tonight, along with your phone calls, your text messages. Reach out and touch us. Phone number 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. And our text line number, brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance. That number is 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847. All right, the opening week was good. Clemson, LSU, South Carolina, Virginia Tech. That was a very nice appetizer. Last week was kind of the snooze fest, though, of course, everybody struggled across the board because they were snoozing. It was kind of a snooze fest. Now we get down to the serious business, Bergie, of deciding who's going to go to the playoffs because conference play begins. No matter what you do outside your league, you can still make it to the playoffs by taking care of your conference business. South Carolina at home against Vanderbilt. Clemson on the road against Georgia Tech. 2 winnable games, 2 losable games, to be quite honest with you. They could each pull off wins. They could each lose. So it should be a fun rest of the week, breaking it down, talking about it. Should be a good Saturday for football in Atlanta. And in Columbia, where it's another sellout for the Gamecocks and another night game for the Gamecocks. It's always good for them. The place is rocking. They'll have recruits. They'll be impressed by the setting. Now the football team has to go out and play, and we're going to hear from Beamer. We're going to hear from Sweeney coming up. One thing I read today, Bergie, that was caught my eye is by the big Spurs, Tony Morrell, talking about the South Carolina offense, and he quoted a source or cited a source as saying that Lenora Sellers went to Mike Shula and told Mike Shula he wants more quarterback runs, about 15 a game. He wants more quarterback runs called. He wants about, I think it was 15 or so per game. And so we'll see what happens with that if South Carolina decides to run their quarterback more. I guess unless you're scared of injury with him, why wouldn't you cut him loose and let him run?
Exactly. Mike Shula strikes me as a fairly intelligent guy, and it's bizarre that his quarterback, who is extremely athletic, had to go to him and say, Coach, how about call a few more plays for me that I can run the football? Did he not watch what Sellers did against Clemson? Did he not watch how contained he was against Illinois and kind of how contained he was against South Carolina State? I mean, you've got to let that guy get out and create. He's never going to be Dan Marino. I don't know why you want to try and make him Dan Marino. The biggest mistake the Panthers ever made, in my opinion, well, there are several, but this one ranks up towards the top, is when they tried to turn Cam Newton into a pocket passer. I mean, Newton's got a really good arm and did some good things, but he was more electric when they allowed him to get out and create and run and use his athleticism. I don't know why you would put any reins on Lenore Sellers. He's bulked up. He should be able to handle the hits, and he's smart enough to run out of bounds if necessary. So, I mean, it just strikes me as odd that the quarterback had to go and say, hey, Coach, how about let me call my number a few more times?
That's an excellent point, excellent comparison. And, Mike Shula, here's the thing. When you hire an offensive coordinator, of course, he was in the program, but when you hire an offensive coordinator, you promote somebody. I mean, that guy, especially a guy with experience. This is a guy who's a former college quarterback, a former NFL and college coach, a former head coach, and he's got his own philosophies. He's got his own way of thinking about things. And as the head coach, Shane Beamer, or whoever the head coach happens to be, in this case is Shane Beamer, your thoughts and his thoughts had better be on the same page. And they also have to mesh with what your quarterback does best. And, I mean, we saw going back to the bowl game last year against Illinois that Lenore Sellers did not cut it loose running the football like he did in the Clemson game or some other games in the regular season. And so far this season, it's been spotty. He had a few runs against Virginia Tech, but nothing extraordinary. I think, based on this information, I think that Lenore Sellers feels like he wants his running game to be a major part of the offense, not just the throwing, but he wants his threat as a runner to be something that defenses have to really seriously consider now. Maybe they're not so much because they're thinking he's going to be a pocket passer. Now might be the perfect time to cut that loose. I guarantee you they're going to see the quarterback on the other side Saturday night run the football.
Yep. Well, and last year, Lenoris was the second leading rusher on that football team behind Rocket Sanders. This year, he's carried it as many times as Oscar Attaway, but in terms you have to take out, obviously, the sack yardage. So he's the third leading rusher right now for the Gamecocks. But Lenoris is probably looking at it, too, is, look, I sit and watch the NFL guys. I sit and see what Lamar Jackson's able to do. I watch what Josh Allen is able to do. I watch all these mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. I want to be like those guys. They throw the football a lot, but they're also allowed the freedom to be able to run the ball as well. And I think the Carolina offense is much, much better when Lenoris pretty much is the guy to throw it and also to run it. Now, he's got to get his running backs involved, and the offensive line has got to play better, but still. I mean, I wouldn't mind calling, if I'm Mike Shula, I don't know why you wouldn't call 16's number a whole lot more than he has thus far.
Would you put him in the same category as Lamar Jackson as a runner?
No, I don't think so. Jackson just strikes me as a freak athlete that there are very few people into that category. I was just using him as a comparison because Lenoris does like to run the football. But, yeah, I'm not sure it's fair to compare anybody to Lamar Jackson. This may be a unicorn that we see come along once in a lifetime in the NFL.
He made a run in that game Sunday night that was incredible. It was late in the ball game. Did you see that run? I mean, he almost broke exactly it for the distance. Yeah, he almost took it the distance.
After he was almost sacked. Yeah.
His speed, that's the thing. I don't think it's – I hear what you're saying, the style. I don't think that the speed is comparable. Lamar Jackson's just got that gear. He's got that other gear that very few have. So, interesting thought. Phone number 888-898-2525. And our text line is 803-900-4847. Clemson is also going to see a running quarterback in Haynes King. and he's healthy. He practiced today at Georgia Tech. He practiced fully, according to Pete Nakos. So no big concern there about him. He did sit out last weekend. He practiced today, so he should be ready to go against Clemson. They'll be monitoring his situation. It says here the situation will be monitored throughout the week. This, of course, is very important for Georgia Tech. He set out the win over Gardner-Webb because he was a little banged up coming off that win at Colorado. Brent Key in his press conference said, looks good, feels good, smells good. I put that in there. They'll make a determination this weekend. Brent Key.
You sure Brent Key said all that stuff in his presser today? I'm not sure he said 4 words total from what I'm reading.
I was going to say, from what I understood, he started 7 minutes early, right, and finished it within like 4 minutes. I mean, that was his weekly press conference. Tells me the guy is going to be tight as a tick.
Yeah.
By the time Saturday. Meantime, Dabo Swinney was loose as a goose.
Well? Yeah, and does that play well? Which style do you think plays better with your team? Now, especially if Brent Key is not like that normally, and I'll admit I don't follow Georgia Tech and watch Brent Key's press conferences every week, but my assumption is going into last week's game probably wasn't like that, and you just wonder, are his players thinking, all right, if coach is this, quiet and feels like this already on a Tuesday, what are we going to be like Saturday when we face Clemson? I think Dabo's approach is probably, of course, Dabo's being Dabo, and that's what you have to do. But I think his approach to a big game is a whole lot better than what it appears Brent Key is taking. Now, they may come out and score 70 on Clemson and shut them out, and then we can all say, well, see, Brent Key was as businesslike as his team. But, I don't know.
Well, these two games are going to be a showcase for the quarterbacks. And, of course, two of them were very highly hyped is being highly talked about. Two of them were hyped quite a bit in the preseason for the Heisman. Neither has lived up to that hype at this point. This would be a great opportunity for both to turn it on and show what they can really do. And we know they can play better. We know they can do more. I expect them to play well Saturday night and Saturday afternoon. I expect Cade Klubnik to get back to being Cade Klubnik and not looking like he's lost like he has a few times in these first two games. He's regressed in some ways. At times he's regressed. And then, he came out and played a pretty solid second half against Troy. But, again, that's still against Troy, and they shouldn't have been put in that position to begin with. So, going to be facing a better team in a hostile environment. I think being on the road might be good for Clemson. They've had 2 home games. They've had the great crowds of the LSU game and had to deal with the storm last weekend, but still a nice home crowd. Might be good for them to get on the road, a 12 o'clock kickoff, just a simple business trip right down I-85 from Clemson, about 90 minutes, and have a good focus, come out and play their best football. A lot of it will depend on the health of the offensive line, who's going to be able to play. Dabo Swinney had fun today and, of course, asked the prerequisite question about injuries. Now he can say, we'll have an injury report coming out on Thursday.
So, was this before or after he made light of you?
Did he make light of me? I thought he was making a serious comment about what he thinks.
About not telling you the truth?
Yeah. Well, I'm used to that, used to being lied to. As a very close associate of mine once told me many years ago, he said, Phil, coaches lie. I said, no, they don't. Seriously? He goes, nope. I'm telling you, coaches lie. And the longer I've been around, the more I realize that is true. All right, so we got the coaches coming up. Josh Harris will be here at 7:35 to talk NASCAR. We got a cutoff race coming up, and what a great place to have a cutoff race, Bristol, this weekend, after Denny Hamlin won last weekend to ensure his advance to the next round of the playoffs. So looking forward to having Josh with us to talk some NASCAR. We'll have recruiting for you coming up as well tonight. Check on those text messages. That number to text us, 803-900-4847. Again, your phone calls welcomed as well. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Got some other news notes to catch you up on as well. We got the Clemson ACC basketball schedule and the USC SEC baseball schedule, and we'll be back.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III. Heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5. All right, we're back. Sports Talk Media Network on a Talking Tuesday. Beautiful day in the state of South Carolina today. Man, wouldn't you love to be at the beach today? Weather's just right. Temperature in the 80s. Humidity is down. Great day to be outside for a walk on the Grand Strand or maybe hanging out at the river down there, whatever. You want to go to the beach and enjoy the weekend or a week or longer this time of the year, it's a perfect time to get to the beach, and Jimmy Smith is the right guy to call to set up your accommodations. 843-237-4246. 843-237-4246. Online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Paulie's the place. Jimmy's the man. Just give him a shout, tell him what you need, and he'll take care of the rest. Number again is 843-237-4246. Also, remember, Paulie's Vacation Rentals, James Smith Real Estate. You want to buy some property. You want to buy some property to make the move. Make the move, then they are also the people to call down there as well. They'll work with you and help you get the great deal and get you in the right spot. 843-237-4246, your perfect beach getaway. That's Jimmy Smith at Paulie's Vacation Rentals.com. All right, we're going to hear from the coaches coming up. I have a little tease for you with the coaches to kind of get you in the mood of hearing from the two head coaches, Dabo Swinney and Shane Beamer. Little exclusive interviews off to the side, Bergie, that I conducted with the two head coaches. So here's Dabo Swinney. I got him to the side after his regular press conference before he headed out for well, he asked me about the Seawell's buffet if I had brought anything with me, and I told him I had not been by there, but I'd bring him some next week. And my question to him was, you're 1-1, and you're falling in the rankings, and you're being projected outside of the playoffs right now. What kind of message is that sending to your fan base as you move ahead to Georgia Tech?
Say we suck again. Tell everybody we suck.
Yep. And now South Carolina getting ready for their SEC opener against Vanderbilt. And, the Gamecocks, they beat Virginia Tech. They struggled at home against South Carolina State. But now it's time to get serious. It's time to get serious about SEC play. Are the Gamecocks all that? Are they an upper division SEC play? I talked to, after I drove back from Clemson, I ran over to South Carolina. I got in front of Shane Beamer, and I said, Shane, it's SEC time. What's your approach to SEC games?
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Yeah, so he's fired up, Bergie.
Wow, Beamer's extremely fired up. It's the most foul language I've heard him use in a press conference in a long time.
Well, he gets emotional sometimes.
Did he say as well at the end of it, too?
It's funny. So 2 questions into the press conference, he said as well, but he said, "Oh, sorry, that's one." But he actually said it 10 times before that.
Today he did.
Oh yeah, you'll hear it in the audio. But
yeah, it's hard to break those verbal.
That's his crutch.
Yeah,
he was happy that you were not there. He commented that you have not been there the past couple weeks. Well, he was happy. He was happy.
I will get there. I have to, we have a system here between going up there and being here. We try to handle both of them as best we can. So
I think he likes
it's nice to be missed.
Not having the shine up on the top row. He likes having a full head of hair up there, because I think sometimes it can hurt.
I will give you credit. You do have hair.
Although I do have a little bald spot growing.
You do have hair, kind of like the landlord. Landlord's got a big bald spot going.
Oh
boy,
Did he call you the other guys, Josh?
No, although he did look right at me and said, Phil hasn't. He looked at me, and then he looked at some of the other members in the room and said, Phil hasn't been here in a couple weeks, so you'll hear it in the audio. But
it's nice to be missed. I didn't realize I was so missed. All right, a few other things to get to. So the SEC today announced the baseball schedules, the league baseball schedules for the league teams. This is baseball now. Here during football season, South Carolina now knows who their SEC teams will be this coming spring, as they look to improve on a miserable year last year. So the Gamecocks will open up at Florida, and this is their first SEC series, March 13 through 15. And am I correct, Bergie, the ones in Garnet are the road games?
Correct. And the ones in black, which is a really good home schedule for Gamecock fans, the ones in black are the home series.
All right, so Florida on the road, Arkansas at home, Georgia on the road, Texas at home, Missouri on the road, Mississippi State at home, and then Kentucky at home. So they got one part there in April. They got back-to-back home series. LSU on the road, Alabama at home, and Vanderbilt on the road. So, there's no way to slice it. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
As good as the Gamecocks might be, as much as they've improved, that's still going to be tough. You got Florida was a tournament team, Arkansas was a tournament team, Georgia. Everybody on their schedule was in the tournament except for Missouri. Yeah, every one of those SEC teams was in the tournament last year. Am I correct? Of course, LSU won the whole thing. Yeah, every one of those teams. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bergie. I think every one of those temes except Missouri.
I think that's correct, Phil.
Yeah.
I believe you're right.
That's tough, man. They better be better. They better be better.
I'd forgotten how bad it was when I was writing the story. I had to look back at last year. It was 6 conference wins last year. I knew it was bad, and that just I'd forgotten it was only 6 conference wins. So yeah, they better be better, or they're going to stare at a similar fate.
Yes,
because those first 2 series will not be easy, and certainly that one in early May is definitely going to be difficult.
All right, here is your Clemson men's basketball ACC slate. So the Tigers will open up on either December 30th or 31st with a game at Syracuse, and then January 3rd they'll play at Pittsburgh. So back-to-back road games to the Northeast to open things up. Well, I guess Pitt's not really the Northeast, but kind of up there. Then January 6th at home to SMU, then a trip to Notre Dame. So 3 of their first 4 on the road, back home for Boston College January 13th, then Miami at home, and then NC State at home. So a 3-game homestand, then a ride over to Georgia Tech, then a home game against Pittsburgh. Then they go out to Stanford. That'll be on February 3rd. Then they go to Cal on February 7th. Wouldn't you think they would just stay out there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And are they the first Clemson of the big programs, basketball, baseball, and football? Won't they be the first ones to take that trip out there?
I think so. I
believe that's correct, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then they got Virginia Tech at home. They go to Duke. They go to Wake Forest. They have Florida State at home, Louisville at home. They play at North Carolina, and then home to Georgia Tech to wrap up the regular season before they go into tournament play. That'll be on March the 7th for that last home game. Then, of course, the ACC tournament, and they'll be expecting to move on to the NCAA tournament after that. But that's the schedule for Clemson basketball, men's basketball coming up. Former Coastal Carolina baseball coach Gary Gilmore and former AD and radio voice Matt Hogue. They are 2 of the new members of the Hall of Fame class at Coastal Carolina.
Well-deserved. Yeah, well-deserved.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about this after the break. We've got the coaches coming up as well. Back in a moment.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening, a low temperature dipping down to 59. Tomorrow, glorious. Sunshine-filled skies, a high temperature topping out at 84. We'll be in the mid-80s with our highs for the rest of the week. Lots of sunshine, no rain in the forecast, and we can look all the way ahead to next week. We'll be back up around 90 degrees every day the first half of the week with a lot of sunshine. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing the Wing and a Prayer Wednesday special. Purchase an order of wings and a drink and get a free gift card for the arcade. We have some of the most mouth-watering jumbo wings like flamethrower hot wings, barbecue wings, teriyaki wings, honey mustard wings, terry hot wings. You can get a half dozen for $9.95 or a dozen for $18.95. Served with celery and choice of dressing. So come join us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy some great jumbo wings and lots of fun in our new and improved arcade. And we at Flight Deck Restaurant thank y'all and God bless.
Standards. News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. 2 big stories out of the Supreme Court. Chief Justice John Roberts is temporarily keeping in place the Trump administration's decision to freeze nearly $5 billion in foreign aid. Roberts acted Tuesday on the administration's emergency appeal to the Supreme Court in a case involving billions of dollars in congressionally approved aid. President Trump said last month that he would not spend the money. The Supreme Court is granting an unusually quick hearing on whether President Trump has the power under federal law to impose sweeping tariffs. The justices agreed Tuesday to hear the case in November, lightning fast by the usual standards of the nation's highest court. The tariff 196 points. More details at srnnews.com.
We're taking the afternoon drive back on the road to Lexington. Thursday the 11th from 4 to 6 p.m. We'll be live from the Village at South Lake. It's an absolutely beautiful independent living community rated the best in Lexington. It's a great day for you to stop by and see us. We'll have refreshments for you, swag to give away. If you're thinking about independent living, this is the time to come visit. 4 to 6 Thursday the 11th at the Village at South Lake, 123 Gibson Road in Lexington. Hope to see you there.
You work hard for your money. Shouldn't your money work hard for you too? Think about all the hours you've put in, the late nights, the early mornings, the dedication to your craft. Now imagine those dollars doing some of the heavy lifting for a change, growing quietly in the background while you focus on what matters most. Whether you're saving for a dream vacation, a new home, or just building a cushion for peace of mind, putting your money to work is one of the smartest moves you can make. Open a certificate at Founders Federal Credit Union and earn more with your savings. For a limited time only, Founders is offering 18-month certificates at 4.32% annual percentage yield and 18-month IRA certificates at 4.58% annual percentage yield. To get started, visit foundersfcu.com/dividend rates or one of our many convenient office locations. All you need is $500 to get started, but don't delay. These rates won't last. Open your certificate today. Your future self will thank you for opening a certificate at Founders. Federally insured by the NCUA. Membership qualification required. $500 minimum balance. 18-month term. Dividends compound quarterly. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
This fall, discover a place where friendly faces greet you at the door. McCoy's Hardware of Lexington. Greg Lynette and their welcoming team make every visit a breeze with expert advice and genuine hometown care. No more endless aisles or big box blues, just quality products and people who want to know your name. For every project, big or small, find what you need and a neighborly smile at 2028 Augusta Highway. Shop local. Shop happy. McCoy's Hardware of Lexington.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Sweet from Sweet Comfort Services HVAC. We're locally owned and operated, which really helps keep pricing reasonable. With lower overhead and more accountability, we stand by the systems we install, our repairs, and our parts. Most nationally owned companies know they have plenty of work this time of year when it's really hot. We'll treat you great no matter what time of year it is. Call Sweet Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143. That's 803-331-8143.
It's painting season in the Midlands, and Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovation sets the tone for inspired living. Watch your home change from ordinary to outstanding with colors that liven every wall and craftsmanship you can trust. Michael and his team are fully licensed, bonded, and insured. They care for every detail inside and out of your home. Let's give your home the style and care it deserves. Call 922-5615. Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovations, where every project reflects pride.
Oh, yeah. That takes you back. Doesn't that take you back, Bergie?
Oh, indeed. I love Boston.
The Celtics.
You would, though.
That's how I first fell in love with the Celtics through the group Boston. Yeah.
Oh,
no, great.
Nice.
What a great run they had back in the day. All right, 888-898-2525 if you want to join in. Going back to that Coastal Carolina Hall of Fame story, Gary Gilmore, has there ever been a bigger no-brainer? You know?
Yeah, no.
To be selected for the Coastal Hall of Fame. And Matt Hogue, I wanted to say, and you were clapping, for all these folks, but Matt Hogue, of course, a good friend, longtime friend, great story of a guy that just started off in radio at the low level around here and went to Coastal when Coastal was nothing, Bergie. It was a nothing Bergie. Coastal was nothing in athletics. Had a little baseball going. Of course, Coach Gilmore had a little baseball going, maybe a little basketball playing in that old gym. Did not have football. I remember Matt going there to do baseball on the internet through a computer. He would do it through his computer. I mean, it was as small time as you could get, but he saw an opportunity, and boy, did he take advantage of it. Terrific broadcaster. Then, of course, he became an AD and ran that program for many years, and now he's teaching there, so congratulations to those two. Also, Nadil Wildshut, who was a All-American in cross-country. Anyaka LaGrosse, who was a standout in volleyball. Malene Hansen, who was a standout golfer. And former quarterback Chad Hamilton, who was quite good when they were in the Big South. He was one of the top quarterbacks in the Big South. So that's the Hall of Fame class for Coastal Carolina. And they'll be introduced when?
October the 10th at the Marriott Grand Dunes, and then they'll be honored at halftime the following day when Coastal takes on Louisiana Monroe.
Excellent, excellent.
And it's funny you mentioned that Matt went to Coastal to start broadcasting games over the internet. When I started with CCU back in 2007, I was doing women's basketball strictly on the internet as well. So the broadcast arm of Coastal Athletics has grown considerably over the years.
Absolutely. Well, again, it had to really start from nothing and progress to where it is today.
Sure.
Let's see. Defensive lineman Sadir Mitchell no longer on the LSU football team. He's not on the official online roster either. He's a Texas transfer, did not play a snap in LSU's first 2 games. Here's one, of course, that the recruiting analyst got wrong in a big way. He was like a 4-star guy. Expected, of course, to be a player, and he's not a player. I mean, what else can you say? Flamed out at Texas, couldn't cut it at LSU. He probably needs to drop down a level if he wants to find a place to play. So probably going to hit the transfer portal, John. Clemson finished tied for second and Coastal Carolina fourth at the Myrtle Beach Golf Trips Intercollegiate at Grand Dunes. They were playing what's called the long course. You know why they call it the long course? Because it's 7,500 yards.
Jeez.
That's why they call it the long course. It would take me 3 days to play that course.
No doubt.
Florida Atlantic was your winner at -26. Clemson was -17 with Florida Gulf Coast. Coastal was -15, but the Chanticleer's Jack Lee was the medalist at 14 under par. Meantime, South Carolina men playing in the Gopher Invitational. It's up in Minnesota, and they have finished second. Looks like this tournament is over. They finished second to Texas A&M. Gamecocks coming in at +7, and Texas A&M winning it at even par. So South Carolina finishing 7 shots back, and Furman was in this event. And Furman came in tied for 8th at +17. Frankie Harris of South Carolina was in a tie with Aaron Pounds of Texas A&M and Paul Beauview of Iowa State. They all finished at 8 under par. And I'm looking to see if we have a winner determined here, but I don't see that yet. So that's the story there. Then you got the South Carolina women. They are playing in the Annika Invitational, and they are in, let's see here, they are in 5th place. They're in 5th place after 2 rounds at 9 over par. Southern Cal is your leader at 2 under par. Let's see, the top USC player, of course, is Isla Galitsky, and she is at 6 under. She is a shot off the lead after 2 rounds. Hard to believe that the college golf season is underway as well, and it's really kind of growing, I think, in national interest, especially with the Golf Channel televising a lot of these events now, a lot of these college golf events, mixing them in with everything else that goes on during the fall season in college. Of course, it spills over into the spring. This is, when you think about it, the college golf season, it's the one sport from a team standpoint that plays in both semesters, plays in both parts of the year, the fall and also in the spring and summer. So these folks play all the time, but that's the beauty of golf. You can play it all the time.
Kind of like the PGA Tour. I mean, I know they take a couple of weeks off at the end of the year, but I mean, they'll be started as soon as the Ryder Cup is done. They'll be cranking back up, brand new season. It's almost like it never ends.
You're exactly right.
But you're right. I mean, it's a sport you can play year round.
I agree. I wish I could play it year round.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wish we had the opportunity to play it year round, but we never do. All right, let's see what else is going on. Anything else on your plate before we get to the coaches?
No, you hit the weird oddball ACC release of the basketball schedule in the middle of football season, in September.
Yep.
And then also the weird release of the SEC baseball schedule. But other than that, I think we hit the highlights today.
All right, let's run to the break, and when we come back, we'll get to the Shane Beamer portion of the program on this Talking Tuesday as he sets the stage for South Carolina and Vanderbilt. South Carolina looking to open SEC play on a winning note, go to 3-0 on the season, and really kind of prove they're the 11th best team in the country in the eyes of the AP. Are they really that good, or are they overrated? They'll get a really good test, I think, in this Vanderbilt team. They have got some dangerous players, but in particular, Bergie, their offense is just really difficult to defend with that quarterback and the different things they do, the different motions and the style of offense they run with the quarterback runs. I mean, this will be, no question about it, this will be the case where an offense will run their quarterback and will intend to run their quarterback.
Well, obviously, Diego Pavia is not afraid of anybody. That includes the NCAA. Had to sue them so he could play some more. And then secondly, with his mindset, he's going to take it somewhat of an offense to him that he was not first team, second team, or third team SEC preseason quarterback. So he's got a chance to prove it against the guy who was the preseason choice as the best quarterback in the SEC.
And let's see how good that Gamecock defensive front is now against an SEC offensive front.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love, and you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
Maybe your credit's seen better days, or maybe it's just never been quite where you want it to be. At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. Things don't always go according to plan. But that doesn't mean your goals are out of reach. Whether it's a car to get to work or a little extra breathing room in your budget, we offer personal and auto loans to help you move forward. With flexible terms and a team that treats you like a person, not a number. We take the time to understand because you don't need a perfect credit score to start your next chapter. Visit a local Founders office or foundersfcu.com to learn more. Founders, helping you do life on your terms, helping you build a brighter financial future. All it takes is one visit to foundersfcu.com to get you started. Relax, you've got this with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
All right, looks like Frankie Harris did win that tournament. He must have won a tiebreaker because I'm seeing a picture of him from South Carolina men's golf calling him the champ. So I mean,
a good indicator.
That probably means he is the winner, the champ and the winner. That's good vibes for South Carolina to carry over to the football team. Frankie Harris should come and he should be the surprise announcer. What do they call it? The guy that does the Gamecock cheer out there.
Guest starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
You know, I think Plummer should do that one day. I think when Cocky pops out of that caboose, that the Plumber should fall out of the back end of it and lead the game. Let me hear you. Can you do the Gamecock cheer? Have they taught y'all the Gamecock cheer yet as a freshman? Do you know the Gamecock cheer?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
All right, I'll show you. Okay, Bergie, we'll do it for him. You ready?
Yes.
I'll do the front. You do the rear. You
All
ready?
right, fair enough.
Now listen up, Plumber, so you learn this.
I'm
Ready?
listening, yeah.
Game.
Cox.
Game.
Cox.
Game.
Cox. See,
You
pretty simple.
You got it?
Do it one more time for me.
Why?
Just do it one more time.
I'm not, no, you can't record.
I'm
not going to record it. I promise.
I'm
Game.
trying to envision Cox.
Game.
I'm trying to envision Plummer jumping out of the back of the cockaboose and running from end zone to end zone.
He'd fall out. He wouldn't jump. He would fall out.
I probably would. To do it though, waving a plunger. It'd be so awesome.
You should do
instead
that
of the towels.
Seriously,
He could wave
Plummer,
a plunger.
You should do that.
What do you mean I should do it?
You need to enjoy your college. I don't get the feeling that you're enjoying your college experience.
I wonder
so
if
far.
I had the opportunity to kick a field goal. Let's just say you saw
for $500,000.
For $500,000, I wonder if I'd actually do it. Or if
I think you'd whiff.
draw something on my chest, and
I think you'd whiff.
I don't know.
But the first thing, you have to actually go to the game.
That's true.
Have not been to a game as a student.
You can't sit home and watch Florida lose
you gotta
every
go to the
Saturday.
game.
Where are you going to be this Saturday night? Don't you want to go to the game?
Well, so here's the thing. You pay for all of these things. You have to actually go to the soccer games and the volleyball games to go to the football games. So I'm not going to those games because I'm not a loser. That's the reality. I'm not a loser. Okay.
All right.
South Carolina women's soccer is actually pretty
good. Yeah, and you know, volleyball's got a new coach. All right, on to Shane Beamer, who could lead the Gamecock cheer, I'm sure. So
no
today he met with the media, Talking Tuesday. Here is Shane Beamer getting the Gamecocks ready for Vanderbilt. This Talking Tuesday, of course, brought to you by Touchstone Energy Cooperatives. Find your co-op at touchstoneenergy.com. We found Shane Beamer.
Looking back at last week, I know I said it already, but want to say it again, just thanks to our fans. Looking back, I mean, what an amazing environment on Saturday night against South Carolina State. To sit through that weather delay student section, the cockpit was unreal. Didn't see those videos right after the game of how they spent the weather delay down there in the student section. That was awesome. Thanks to them and all the other fans that were there throughout to come out of the locker room for pregame warmups to a packed stadium was awesome. And I know our players really, really, really appreciated it on Saturday night. And we'll need them again this Saturday as well. I got a really good Vanderbilt team coming in here. Certainly the best Vanderbilt team that we've played in my time as the head coach. They're improved from last year. Brought back 8 starters on defense. They've been in this system now for a while. They've got really good players on defense. Obviously, Pavia at quarterback makes them go. He brought back all of his top weapons. They went out in the portal and got a couple of receivers that have added an element to their offense. Renew offensive linemen that have come in from the other schools as well. So they've made their team better. They were already a good team that has added to it and has gotten better since last year, coming off a great win at Virginia Tech. And Saturday night, they're really good on special teams. They always are year in, year out. They've got multiple dangerous returners. They've got a guy that returned a kickoff for a touchdown last year against Tennessee to open the game. They were about one game-saving tackle or touchdown-saving tackle away against us from last year. Last year, returning a kickoff that we made a tackle on, or that one about popped out of there. So we've got a big challenge from a special team standpoint, and ton of respect for Clark Lee and the job that he's done there. They're tough. They're physical, well coached. It's evident when you watch tape with the challenge that they will be. But our guys are excited. They were in a hostile environment, meaning Vanderbilt, last Saturday night in Blacksburg, Virginia, against Virginia Tech, and they handled it well. But I need to challenge our fans to make sure that Williams-Brice on Saturday night is even more hostile than what they faced in Blacksburg last Saturday night. We need them as well, but should be a beautiful night for football. Primetime SEC Network game. So looking forward to having those guys here. Will be a fun night in Columbia, and looking forward to competing against a really good Vanderbilt team as well. So there's one. On the injury front, we're trending in the right direction. Obviously, it's an SEC game, so we'll have to release an injury update as the week goes, and we'll do that then. So I'm not going to talk about injuries today other than just to say we're trending in the right direction, and we'll release the report like we do every week for SEC games when the time comes.
Shane, after breaking down the first two games, specifically with the run game, is there one glaring issue that says that's the reason why that the run game hadn't really been able to get on track?
I wouldn't say there's one glaring issue. I think it's a host of things, David. We don't seek comfort around here by making excuses, but Virginia Tech game, it's a good defense, and that's a tough preparation because you didn't quite know what to expect. South Carolina State, we're starting a true freshman. We had bad field position. So those are things that I don't want to, completely just push aside and say that they weren't a factor, because those are factors. Having said that, we have to overcome that. And I wouldn't say there's one glaring thing. We've been close. We haven't been consistent enough. Yeah, sometimes it's different positions. It may be a guy getting beat, which is going to happen at times. And, this week, hopefully we'll start the same 5 on the offensive line health wise. And we weren't able to do that from week 1 to week 2, but confident that we'll be better this week. And today in practice, we got off to a great start.
Something that you say a lot to describe your own players is, when the lights come on, they meet the moment. Pavia is one of those people. What goes into stopping him, especially someone who kind of eats big moments for breakfast?
Yeah, he's a stud. You watch his tape. I mean, I've got so much respect for him. I got a chance to visit with him a little bit in Atlanta at SEC Media Day because we were there at the same time, and enjoyed visiting with him and enjoy watching him play. He's such a competitor, and I mean, there's plays from the Virginia Tech game. He does it all. Lulu is probably the biggest thing. He loves the moment. He loves competing. I mean, he's got a play against Virginia Tech where he's sitting in the pocket on 3rd down and delivering a throw down the field. He's got a play against Virginia Tech where he's got one-on-one coverage on the outside and he throws it up and he hits the receiver in stride on a deep ball for a touchdown. He's got a play against Virginia Tech where he scrambles and rolls to the right and then comes all the way back across to the far sideline and hits his running back out in the flat on a scramble situation. He's got to play against Virginia Tech where he runs a quarterback draw for 20 yards. He's got to play for against Virginia Tech where he runs the option and he pitches the ball to his option guy, and then he's the lead blocker, and he goes downfield and he tries to block the defensive back. I mean, he's fun to watch, and I've got a ton of respect for him. It's going to take all 11 on defense to control him on Saturday night. All of us flying to the ball starts up front, but we've got to do a great job on the perimeter without a doubt. And then our offense, for sure. I mean, we've got to stay on the field. I mean, Virginia Tech had 6 plays in the 3rd quarter the other night. 6. They went 3 and out, and then they didn't see the ball again until the 4th quarter. That's how they want to play football. So in order to, control Pavia, we've got to do our part on offense too to make sure that we're staying on the field and sustaining drives.
Saw late last week that Travian Robertson is back home, but what's the latest you can share with him and his potential return back to the team? And then also with Jordan Dove, how have you seen things gone there with him?
Yeah, it was good to get Travian home. I know his family was excited to have him home. I know he was excited to get out of the hospital. He's been able to Zoom into some meetings. We always, Joe DeCamillis has a very entertaining, I guess is the word, Friday night meetings at the hotel before games. And he wanted to be a part of that. So he Zooms in on Friday night. So he's a part of that meeting and the players are able to say hello to him. I was texting with him yesterday and talked to Clayton. He was able to Zoom in and be a part of the defensive staff meetings yesterday when our staff was putting together the initial game plan. So he's involved from that standpoint and getting closer to when he physically can, return. I know he's eager to get back at it, and we were all excited to see him go home at the end of last week without a doubt. And then I think Dove's done a great job. He, like I said, he's got experience. He's been around the program for a while. He's been involved with those defensive tackles for a while. He's doing a nice job. And then, as I mentioned before, Jamil Walker's in there and has really lended a helping hand and has helped that, along with all the, coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball.
What is it? Because you don't seem to be too concerned. You're like, we're going to get it together. When the struggles do happen through the first 2 weeks process, so that they can be the well-oiled machine that you believe they can be.
Yeah, it's just going back to work. I mean, every game it's it's you learn from it. There's good, there's bad, there's things we need to correct, there's things that we need to coach better, there's things that schematically probably weren't great ideas in that game, whatever it may be. You always look at the previous game and then how we can improve and be better. And it's no different. There's whatever y'all are feeling right now and whatever the narrative is on the outside, it's not that in here, guys. Our guys are confident and know how close we are. And it hasn't been good enough. I'm not saying that at all. And we have to coach better. We have to play better, not just the offensive line, the receivers, the running backs, the tight ends, the offensive line, the quarterback, everyone. We all have to play better, starting with me. But, it's offensive football, and 10 guys can do everything right, and one guy can be a little bit off, and it's a 2-yard gain. Every article or TV hit that y'all do, it ain't going to be perfect. And there's going to be mistakes that are made, and our guys have made some mistakes, and that's why we coach, is to correct it and get better and keep improving. And we know we need to be a lot better this week, because this is certainly the best defense we've played all season. And if we're inconsistent and we're getting beat more often than not, it's going to be a long night. But at the same time, we also know we're close, and we finished 4th in the SEC in rushing last year. And everybody, it'd be easy to say, well, you had Rocket Sanders. Okay, well, we got Sewell Faison and Oscar Attaway and Jawarren Howe and Bradley Dunn and Isaiah Augustave and Matthew Fuller and whoever else as well. And we bring back the quarterback, and we got a lot of new faces, and they're young, and they're going to continue to get better. And we're working really, really hard to be better than what we were as well. But I think sometimes people forget maybe what we did in 2024 running the football, and we're not that far off from doing that again this year too.
Okay. Shane Beamer from earlier today.
That's upsetting.
What's that?
Smitty left out the funny comment at the end about you.
There's nothing funny about it.
And I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. So anyway, can we have a serious moment here on the program? So that's Shane Beamer, and boy, it's a weird, weird world when we're sitting here and everybody from a South Carolina standpoint is nervous about Vanderbilt. But this is what the transfer portal, John, can do for you. I mean, they've picked up some nice transfers. Of course, they've developed the quarterback, of course, the biggest thing. But that tight end is special. A former quarterback himself, he's big-time tight end. They've added to their offensive line, their defensive line, their defense through the portal. Clark Lee's done a really good job making Vanderbilt something to be concerned about, Bergie.
Well, how good would New Mexico State be if Diego Pavia was still there? Played his 6th year there as opposed to transferring to Vanderbilt. You're right. Transfer portal has shifted a lot of power in college football.
But no one would care.
Nope.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The White House is describing today's Israeli attack in Qatar as an unfortunate incident.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the U.S. received prior notice about the pending military strike and gave Doha a heads up.
The president views Qatar as a strong ally and friend of the United States and feels very badly about the location of this attack.
Leavitt said the Trump administration views the bombing inside another sovereign country as unfortunate, but also said eliminating Hamas is a worthy goal. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The Supreme Court is granting an unusually quick hearing on whether President Trump has the power under federal law to impose sweeping tariffs. The justices agreed Tuesday to hear the case in November, lightning fast by the usual standards of the nation's highest court. The tariffs will stay in place in the meantime. Officials in Charlotte are facing sharp criticism over the fatal stabbing of a young Ukrainian refugee on a commuter train last month. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the Charlotte stabbing victim's story is heartbreaking.
This young lady, Irina, survived Ukraine. She fled amid the deadliest land war in Europe since World War II. She fled to the safety, or so she thought, of the United States, just to have her life senselessly ended by someone who should have never been allowed to walk freely.
DeCarlos Brown Jr. has a lengthy arrest record with 14 prior criminal cases. He allegedly killed 23-year-old Irenia Zarutsky last month on a train in Charlotte. North Carolina prosecutors charged him with first-degree murder. He now also faces a federal charge of causing death on a mass transportation system. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Guess who's watching Rob Finnerty on Newsmax? President Trump is. He even says Finnerty's show is so terrific. Millions are joining President Trump to watch Finnerty every night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax. All this week, Rob looks at the media's war on President Trump. Rob gives you the facts about the National Guard in cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. He tells you the real truth about the Jeffrey Epstein files, and he reveals the big media's agenda on Trump's health. You need to watch Rob Finnerty on Newsmax. Check out your local cable system. Newsmax is on all major systems. Or download the free Newsmax app. It costs you nothing, and you can watch in minutes. Finnerty is the fastest-growing primetime news show in America. Find out why even President Trump is tuning in. More than 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for news they can trust. Because we are real news for real people.
More Russian attacks strike eastern Ukraine, killing at least 21 people, correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
Ukraine's president and a regional official say a lethal glide bomb has struck a village in eastern Ukraine as pensions are being distributed to older people. Volodymyr Zelensky says in a post on Telegram that the bomb hit the village of Yarova in the Donetsk region. He called the attack frankly brutal. He's urging the international community to make Russia pay economically for its invasion through additional sanctions. Glide bombs are retrofitted Soviet weapons that have laid waste to eastern Ukraine for months. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Iran and the International Atomic Energy Agency have signed an agreement in Cairo to open the way for resuming cooperation, including resuming inspections of Iran's nuclear facilities. News and analysis at townhall.com. The Trump administration.
On point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening, a low temperature dipping down to 59. Tomorrow, glorious. Sunshine-filled skies, a high temperature topping out at 84. We'll be in the mid-80s with our highs for the rest of the week. Lots of sunshine, no rain in the forecast, and we can look all the way ahead to next week. We'll be back up around 90 degrees every day the first half of the week with a lot of sunshine. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Hey, I see that Marcus Lattimore. This Vanderbilt game is attracting the stars. I see where Marcus Lattimore has put on X that he's going to be at Gamecock Village this Saturday at 5:10. And it's interesting. Marcus Lattimore, who lives out in Oregon now and writes poetry and recites his poems on X, he might do a poem for you over at the Gamecock Village on Saturday. That's cool. He'll get a nice, warm reception. I wonder if they'll have him on the field and all that kind of stuff. He'll get a very nice, well-deserved reception. That's a guy that, boy, you look at his production before and around the knee injuries. He could have really 4 years of Marcus Lattimore. He could have done all kind of things.
Yeah, that's one of the guys, maybe in a different way, because Len Bias ended up killing himself. But yeah. I mean, we never got to see what Len Bias could have been in the NBA. I thought he was going to be a superstar. and I'm sure you did with him going to the Celtics. But
absolutely.
Same thing here with Marcus. Had he not gotten hurt, I mean, the sky was the limit for that guy. I mean, just an amazing running back.
And everybody loved him. I remember the first injury, the first major injury. Dabo Swinney at Clemson, when asked about it, had nothing but great things to say. This guy was universally loved in every visiting locker room. They just had because he played the game the right way, you know.
Yeah, he did.
Even going back to his days at Burns, he scored a touchdown. He didn't do a jig in the end zone. You didn't see him shake like he was doing the earthquake. Is that what they call it, the earthquake? He just tossed the ball to the official like, you know what? I've done this before. What's the big deal?
It's like Barry Sanders. You know, Barry Sanders, every time he'd score, he'd go find a back judge, hand him the football. I'll be back.
It really is a turnoff to me. You're right. Regardless of what level it is, every guy that makes a play now has got to run away from the action and get the spotlight, even if it's the most simplest pass breakup or the most simplest tackle. You know, he's got to quickly get up, run away from it, and do a little something to draw attention to himself. It's a team sport. You're not making that play unless somebody else is doing their job helping you make that play, in all likelihood. I mean, there are some, don't get me wrong, great individual plays, great individual moments. But it'd be nice to see players start playing with a little bit more class at all levels of football, and all sports for that matter.
You mean like not, I don't know, spitting on your opponent?
That'd be a start.
That'd be a start, yeah.
That'd be a good
It'd
start.
be a good start.
But anyway, Marcus Lattimore is going to be in Columbia for the football game, so this is going to be a big weekend. I know in Atlanta they got a little concert planned. Boy, I tell you what, that's a noon kickoff at Georgia Tech, right off of the intersection of 75 and 85. That already probably has about, I don't know, 1 million cars driving by there on a typical Saturday. Now throw in 50-something thousand fans with a concert prior to the game. I'm probably going to leave I'll be staying in Atlanta Friday night, probably leave about 6 in the morning to go over there just to get caught in traffic and drive the 2 hours or 3 hours it'll take to get to the stadium. That's going to be a mess, I have a feeling, on Saturday. They only had 37,000 for their game against Gardner-Webb. Now, a lot of that was the weather impacted them, and from what I read in the Constitution, there was a major traffic jam on 85-75 that was, if people were trying to get there, apparently, it drove a lot of people away. So they had all that. And the competition, of course, wasn't going to be much of a game. All right, it's a Talking Tuesday here on Sports Talk. We heard from Shane Beamer. Of course, if you miss anything on the program, you can always go back to our podcast area. We put everything on SoundCloud, which is a great podcast site. It doesn't get the publicity of some of the others like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but SoundCloud's an excellent podcast location. So we take all the elements of the show, we put it there. So if you miss anything, you can go back and listen to it right there off of SoundCloud. Just look for Sports Talk Media Network. Sports Talk Media Network. So now to Dabo Swinney as the Tigers are getting ready for Georgia Tech. Clemson and Georgia Tech, that's a long rivalry that got interrupted last year. It broke a 41-year run of consecutive years of playing one another when they did not play last year. And they're going to go back to Atlanta now, and Clemson has won 9 in a row against Georgia Tech. South Carolina's won 16 in a row against Vanderbilt. So we got streaks on the line. Clemson's won 9 in a row over Georgia Tech. They have none of the except for a game a couple of years ago that Clemson won by, I think it was 4 points. During this winning streak, all the games have been blowouts.
Yeah.
Blowouts.
And Phil, I did not realize until I was looking back at the series history, this is one of the rare teams that Clemson faces that they have a losing record against.
That's correct.
I mean, Georgia Tech at one point in time just dominated this series.
Well, if I'm not mistaken,
it got lopsided.
I think much like the South Carolina series, they played all the games in Atlanta for the longest time. Played all the games in Atlanta. Can't believe Clemson let themselves be toyed with like that by South Carolina and Georgia Tech. Well, yeah, we'll play it, but we'll play every game in Columbia. Y'all come on down. Yeah,
Well,
we'll
at
play
least,
you, but we're
you
going to
know, the
play every
state
game in
rivalry.
Atlanta.
Yeah, the state rivalry was at the fair. You know, that kind of at least had some common sense to it.
Now-
the fact they just played every game in Atlanta, I'd love to hear the story on that.
Now, let me ask you this question. I've never asked this question to any historians. Going back to the big Thursday where every game was played in Columbia at Carolina Stadium at the time, they didn't get – it wasn't a 50-50 ticket deal, was it? They didn't give Clemson half the tickets, did they?
I would doubt it, but yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know.
I
Way
wonder
before my
why
time.
the Clemson administration for all those years allowed that to happen, unless they were under state pressure to play that week, that Thursday in Columbia every year. It's- I'll have to ask somebody that question one day. Anyway, back to Dabo Swinney getting ready for Georgia Tech. They've had some interesting times in Atlanta. They scored 73 points on them just a few years ago. That was when the Tigers were great offensively. They had some really big-time players. It was also the site, really, where you had the christening of Trevor Lawrence as the starting quarterback. He was not the starting quarterback when they played in Atlanta in 2016. He was a freshman, and Kelly Bryant was the starting quarterback, and he started that game in the Tigers. I was at that game, and the Tigers did nothing offensively through most of the first half, and they put Trevor Lawrence in for like the last possession of the first half with about maybe 2 minutes to go, and he took him right down the field, bing, bang, boom, for a touchdown. When he came out and started the second half, that was that. It was his team. It was his team. They came back and won that game. And, of course, the rest is history because they won the national championship. Anyway, with that as your background, here is Dabo Swinney earlier today talking about his Tigers in the game with Georgia Tech.
Excited about the opportunity. Brent's done an amazing job down there. This is a tough, physical, well-coached football team. And they're battle tested, especially on offense with that quarterback. I mean, this guy's a warrior. I have a ton of respect for him as a player. They got really good skill around him. They're tough and physical up front. They all really understand their scheme, and they take a lot of pride in the execution of it. So, put a lot of strain on you defensively. I mean, it's there's multiple options on every snap, and but. They're going to put it in their best players' hands. They got between their quarterback and 0 and 1. Those guys really strain you. They're going to touch the ball early, often, in a lot of different ways, whether it's from the backfield, jet sweeps, and then they've done a nice job with some guys on the perimeter that they brought in there that have the ability to make some big plays too. So. Some of those guys didn't play a lot last week with the nature of the game. They blocked a couple of kicks, so they do a good job. Creating some opportunity there. We'll have to do a really great job with our protection, and then defensively, they're not giving up a ton of big plays. I mean, they do a nice job of, just executing their defense, being where they're supposed to be. They're active up front. They're thick and stout up front. Again, the game kind of got away last week, but a good opener versus Colorado to kind of get a feel for their personnel over there. So a big challenge for us. Again, this is also a rivalry game. Clemson Georgia Tech's one of the older ones. They've been going on for a long time. Always fun to be a part of this game. Been a lot of great ones over the years, and we're thankful for this opportunity. But look forward to going down there and having a great competition.
The physical battle is always important, like on the line of scrimmage, defensive line, but given what you were talking about with how much they play with your eyes, is the mental maybe as important, if not more, keeping their eyes in the right places?
Yeah, the eye discipline is, this is critical. It's always critical, regardless of style of play, because everybody presents their own challenges from an eye discipline standpoint. But these guys, in pretty much every snap, there's a shift, there's a motion, there's some type of jet. And then by nature of just their scheme, it's quarterback power, quarterback counter with RPOs built into it, with what we call slash guys coming down the line of scrimmage, where they just don't block people. They just control them based on reaction. Keep it, pull it, and if I do pull it, well, there's not necessarily a pitch player, but there's an outlet pass. So it's basically a triple option scheme, from spread formations, and just different ways to get to it. Again, and then they'll run around and turn around and bam, they're hitting you right up the middle with some type of downhill play. But it's all about the quarterback. I mean, he makes it go. I mean, because he's the decision maker. I mean, so it's hard to make him wrong as far as because he's equipped to make them right. So you have to win matchups. You got to win matchups. You got to tackle in space. So eye discipline is critical. Certainly the physical matchup is critical, but you also got to do a great job in space because the ball gets into space just by nature of everybody doing their job, and so you got to have some hard edges. They're going to challenge you on the perimeter, and so that's what they do best. I mean, they make you defend the field sideline to sideline, and then they got the shots built into it in the play action.
Does it concern you also that especially like if you look back to the Miami game last year against them, they used two quarterbacks, and then last week obviously showed a different quarterback. Does that you got to prepare for both guys?
Yeah, I mean, the backup. I mean, he threw for a ton of yards. He's a good player. They can both run the offense. So yeah, you got to be prepared for that. Those are things that you always. Anytime you see something on tape like that, two quarterbacks in the game, that puts puts your antenna up a little bit. So yeah, we just got to do a great job again, just taking care of our business. Making sure that we communicate well, eyes are in the right place, and that physically everybody does their job. That's what it comes down to.
Dabo, going back and watching the tape from the past couple of weeks, what have you seen has been, I guess, the biggest reason for some of the offensive struggles with McKay and the rest of the offense?
Routine stuff. Just really poor job with routine stuff. I mean, it's really that simple.
Routine stuff is fixed for this game.
Yeah, I mean, practice. I mean, and again, that's the frustrating part is it hasn't shown up in practice. And then you get into that first game, and again, there was a lot there in the first game. In a game like that, it's you're going to get 4 or 5 plays, and we didn't take advantage of those opportunities. And so it's going to come down to a play or two, and we just didn't perform like we needed to. But this past week, just some precision in what we're doing, and again, just defensively, after 2 games, they've done a good job. I mean, not that they're perfect, but they've given up 3 touchdowns in 2 games. So I can live with that. The 4th touchdown was on the offense on a pick 6. So we got to just clean up the execution part from an offensive standpoint. That's just not played with great rhythm, and guys got to make the plays that are there. That's where it starts. Whether it's the quarterback or it's catching the ball, just getting there. We got too many 9 out of 11 guys doing their job, and you're not going to be a great offense when that's the case. So played 2 games, got 2 different experiences, and 2 opportunities to learn and teach and grow, and our job to go get better.
Having some time to review the film, what stood out about Adam Randall against Troy?
Just his toughness, his will to win, his heart. He's physical, and just this is his first game to really. I mean, we didn't even really hardly use him in the first game, but there's a lot of opportunity for him to grow, and I think the biggest thing is just his timing in some things. Especially when it comes to your counter and your powers, and when you've got pullers. There's times where he's not where he's too fast. All of a sudden, he gets sped up, and that can happen. Especially, Spiller used to be that way. Spiller used to, heck, he was the puller because the puller was behind him. But he was so fast, it didn't matter. But that ain't good football. Like, I need to be in the hip of my pullers, all right? And so there's timing, and again, that's just comes from playing a little bit, and because oftentimes you can get in a game and you get sped up a little bit. And so I think Adam, and he did some really good stuff, but I think just some precision a little bit more in his footwork and just the timing and the feel of where he needs to be on some of our landmarks, tracks, not cutting on air, pressing the blocks, just some basic stuff that he's done well in practice. But again, he's just got to stick to that when he gets into the game. So, and again, his first real opportunity in that regard. But I mean, he's a good football player. I mean, he's he just gonna keep going, and then hopefully we can get some rhythm going in our offense where we can get the flow a little bit better with some of our other guys as well.
I know y'all have had limited snaps offensively, but has Cade been as much of a factor with his legs as maybe you envisioned in those 2 games?
No, he hasn't. I mean, he's been too much of a factor with his legs in that he's scrambled when he doesn't need to scramble. That's where he's got to get better, and that's what he did early in his career, and he did as the game, especially as we got into rhythm. I mean, he was really good, but even the other day there were a couple of plays where he's running out of the pocket for no reason, and he didn't do that all at camp. So that's just it was really bad in the LSU game, but he had just a couple of plays, and then again once we kind of got in rhythm, I mean he looked like Cade. So again, hopefully they'll pick up where they left off from a execution standpoint, and we'll have a chance to be a good offense.
Bergie, I'm feeling the Tigers this week. I don't know. You have to sometimes go with your gut. With my diminished gut, I'm kind of feeling the Tigers this week.
Well, you've been right on them at least winning so far in both games. We all missed them not beating Troy as bad as we thought. But, yeah, I think if they're going to show who they are, they better do it this week. There's no doubt.
Yeah, if they don't show up, they'll get embarrassed.
They will.
Well, maybe not embarrassed, but beat. That'll be embarrassing, though. Be right back.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. Whether you're on the water or going hunting on land, always tell someone where you're going. Be specific and tell them when you plan to return. Plan your hunt and hunt your plan. For more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
Download the free Go Outdoors SC app from SCDNR, buy licenses, report harvests, and carry everything digitally right on your phone. Go Outdoors SC.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, time for recruiting. brought to you by Seawells. Get ready for the fall. Everything in the fall, beautiful time of the year. A lot of parties, a lot of weddings, receptions. You want the very best catering that you can sink your teeth in. That is Seawells. You just give them a phone call, let them handle all the heavy lifting for you. 803-771-7385. 803-771-7385. Online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Daily lunch and buffet on Wednesday.
Oh, it's a good Wednesday. They got honey barbecue and lemon pepper chicken wings, carved mojo pork loin, and lasagna on Wednesday, along with chicken tenders. Thursday, sliced beef brisket, fried pork chops, and teriyaki glazed salmon. I'm going to leave you with two things on Friday. There's more, but I'm going to leave you with two things on Friday. Carved roast beef, so it's a roast beef Friday, and Polish kielbasa.
Oh, my. Hey, Bergie, if you got one hoe, two hoe, three hoe, does that mean you got moho? That's moho. As in, like a hoe you use to dig in your yard.
Right.
You got one hoe, two hoe,
Yeah.
moho. All of that is at Seawells. All right, to recruiting. Talked with 2027 defensive tackle Josiah Fields, 6'4", 245 of Charlotte. His first game ever at South Carolina for the South Carolina State game. Said it was everything you thought it would be. Loved the intro, loved the fans, the energy. He got a chance to talk with Sterling Lucas. Now, he's a defensive tackle, could end up as a defensive end, so he's also being recruited by Travian Robertson. Of course, Coach Robertson is out right now recovering from those crash injuries. Said he had a really good time. South Carolina's very much in the mix with him at this particular time. He hopes to get back for another game later on in the season. And he's also planning trips to Georgia, NC State, and Auburn. 27 defensive end Rashad Streets of Raleigh was offered by Clemson. He was in for the LSU game. He has a long offer list, including South Carolina, Georgia, Southern Cal, Texas A&M, Duke, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oregon, Miami, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Florida, Florida State, Auburn, and Penn State. 27 receiver Jaden Kelly Murray plans to visit South Carolina Saturday night. He's out of Summerville. 27 receiver Jaron Johnson, 6'1", 195, Charlottesville, Virginia, plans to be at USC Saturday. Catawba Ridge corner in the 27 class, Joshua Dobson, going to go to Notre Dame Saturday. He's already been to games this season at Oklahoma and Clemson, and he was in Atlanta for South Carolina and Virginia Tech. South Carolina 27 quarterback target Trent Seaborn, who was in Columbia last Saturday, is expected to visit Miami this Saturday. 27 safety Marquise Bryant of Rolesville, North Carolina, who has offers from Clemson and South Carolina, was offered by Ohio State. In basketball, South Carolina target 6'7", Jalen Wingfield of Thomasville, Georgia, committed to Georgia Tech. That is recruiting tonight here on Sports Talk. Always follow along on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and on X. Use the search word ST Recruiting on our X, SC Sports Now. Back in a moment.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening, a low temperature dipping down to 59. Tomorrow, glorious. Sunshine-filled skies, a high temperature topping out at 84. We'll be in the mid-80s with our highs for the rest of the week. Lots of sunshine, no rain in the forecast, and we can look all the way ahead to next week. We'll be back up around 90 degrees every day the first half of the week with a lot of sunshine. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American-made for life.
With us for the news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. An Israeli strike targeting Hamas's top leaders as they gathered in the Gulf nation of Qatar marked a major escalation against the terrorist group. and could upend negotiations aimed at ending the war in the Gaza Strip and returning Israeli hostages. It could also spark a diplomatic crisis with Qatar, a U.S. ally. The Justice Department has charged a man with the fatal stabbing of a Ukrainian refugee on a North Carolina commuter train. The charge means he could face the death penalty. DeCarlos Brown Jr. has a lengthy arrest record with 14 prior criminal cases. He allegedly killed 23-year-old Irenia Zarutska last month on a train in Charlotte. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 196 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
How does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Sudeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs, well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you become a customer? Call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SudethAuto.com.
What's better than getting the best Wagyu and Hereford beef anywhere in these parts and getting it delivered to your door? How about knowing you're still supporting local farmers in Saluda over at H&J Cattle, where tradition meets quality? Visit HandJCattle.com. Place your order for $50 or more, get free delivery in Richland or Lexington County. Plus, Point listeners get 10% off your order. Enter keyword The Point as one word for your discount. HandJCattle.com.
I don't know too many folks out there who love paying taxes, but what about getting tax credits? That's appealing, right? My buddy Ken at Broker Solar is in the tax credit business. How would you like a solar battery that helps do two things? First, it serves as an instant generator the moment the power cuts out, and it doesn't even require gasoline. Secondly, it lets you take some control back from the power companies. Yeah, you can use solar power during the peak hours when your power company wants to charge you the most. Oh, and that tax credit on solar batteries, you can get a 30% tax credit right now. This is a phenomenal time to reach out to Ken. He'll come out to your home or your business. He'll give you a comprehensive free estimate, answer any questions. Solar isn't free, but you need to take advantage of those credits when they do come around. Call Ken right now. Save on a solar-powered battery. Online, find him at brokersolar.com or just call Ken, 807-7417. That's 807-7417, Broker Solar.
Okay, time to catch up on the world of NASCAR as we have one more race to go in the opening round of the playoffs. Two races are in, one more to go before we have the first cut of the playoffs. Let's welcome in Josh Harris, president of Darlington Raceway. Good evening, sir. Great to have you with us. How are you?
Hey, good evening. Glad to be on again and doing great.
Super. What'd you think of the race out near St. Louis? Denny Hamlin comes away with another win. I guess, at the end of that race, the last pit stop, the way it worked out, getting those fresh tires made all the difference for him.
Yeah. First of all, Toyota has jumped right out the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and I think I saw a stat today where they've led about 85% of the laps combined between the first 2 races at Darlington and St. Louis. So, got to give Toyota as a whole credit. They've certainly started off hot. Denny Hamlin gets his, league leading, I think 5th win of the season so far. And I was, going into that race, I kind of thought the Ford team, specifically Team Penske, would be who we'd have to keep our eye out on. And they ran well. Ryan Blaney kind of made a charge there towards the end after getting into a little bit of contact with Kyle Larson mid-race. But Toyota's definitely got it. Denny Hamlin has shown that he continues to get better with age. So congrats to that team. They locked themselves in. That's 2 Joe Gibbs teams that have locked themselves into the next round.
You think Ryan Blaney, going back to that contact he had with Larson, or really it was the other way around, Larson just punted him, and really out of nowhere, it seemed like that contact could have been avoided. You think there might be some payback coming somewhere down the road?
Well, I think, they interviewed both the drivers, showed them after the race. Ryan waited around at his car to be able to talk to Kyle. They had a cordial conversation. And then on the TV broadcast, Blaney said that, Larson told him that it was his fault, and he took responsibility for it. And Blaney said, I'll just have to remember that as we go forward. So racers have long memories, and they don't forget many things, especially when they feel like somebody's done them wrong on the track, intentionally or unintentionally. And, that move was one that certainly seemed like Kyle just misjudged it, or, I know those guys have been battling for several laps there. I don't know if he got frustrated. What you never really know for sure, but clearly, sent Blaney spinning. Thankfully, didn't have any damage to the car. Was able to battle back up there and get a great finish out of it.
So Shane Van Gisbergen was running well for a while, and then he kind of spun himself out, which tends to happen to him on these oval tracks. And now he finds himself in 14th, so he's below the cutoff line going into Bristol. Not a great place to, situation to be in, I would say, for him going into this particular race at Bristol. At one point we thought that, he was in great shape to make at least the first cut, and then, of course, there'd be a road course coming up in the second phase of the playoffs that would give him a chance maybe to advance to the 8. But now he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, he does. And I think it just goes to show that even these, what seems like large cushions in the playoffs, how quickly they can go away if you don't have, good solid races right off the bat. And, Shane, he like you said, he ran good at times in that race, had an unfortunate incident. There were a number of spins in that race. Obviously more so than we saw at Darlington the week before. So I think all 4 of the guys that are below the cut line, when you look at Shane, you've got Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, they all kind of have their work cut out for them. And, I'm not saying it's got to be a win or nothing, but they certainly need to collect stage points and have a good finish to try and advance to this next round. And at a place like Bristol, 500 laps there, it goes by fast, but it's also demanding on the drivers. It's easy to go a lap down there and then get trapped and be fighting from behind all night long. So it all starts with a good qualifying effort, starting up front, trying to stay on the lead lap, put yourself in a good position.
And Phil, you're playing fast and loose with the term "we." I told you long before the playoffs began, Shane Van Gisbergen was going to struggle when they got back to the ovals.
Okay. Excuse me, Mr. Perfect. Did you know we had Mr. Perfect as a co-host here, Josh? Okay.
Hey, he's setting the record straight. Last week he
have
gave you flack about your weather app. It was inaccurate. Now this week it's not we, it's me.
He's right.
So,
That's what.
Josh, you remember Stat Boy on the old, pardon the interruption, years and years ago when Tony Reale used to work. That's me here. I'm here to make sure that we stay on the straight and narrow. Josh Harris with us from Darlington Raceway. Looking forward to they run at Bristol this weekend to wrap up the first leg of the playoffs. And Josh, I wanted to go back to Toyota for just a moment. That win also was their 200th in the Cup Series. They've only been at the Cup level since 2007. That sounds like a really quick amount of time for a manufacturer, especially when they've got to get up to speed to get to 200 wins. So first off, can you put it into historical perspective? And then I also wanted to ask you, is Joe Gibbs Racing good because they drive Toyota, or is Joe Gibbs Racing just good because they've got the drivers that they have, and they could be good in Chevys and Fords and or Toyota?
Yeah, I'll go with the first one or the second question first. I think Joe Gibbs as a person has proven he's a winner. NFL head coach, Super Bowl champion, moves over to NASCAR. And in those early days of Joe Gibbs Racing, they were Pontiac, they were Chevy, and they've been a winning organization. Certainly pairing up with Toyota and the resources that Toyota put behind their move into NASCAR, specifically when they moved into the Cup Series. I think those two things just ended up working well together. You had a team that was established joining the Toyota organization when they came into the Cup Series versus a brand new team from scratch. That certainly gave them a leg up when they came in. And for the most part, there's been various teams that have been aligned with Toyota over the years, but they're the smallest of the three manufacturers that we have now when you look at total number of teams racing week in and week out that are Toyotas compared to Chevy and Ford. So adding all of that up, I do think it's really impressive. The number of the amount of time it took them to get to 200 wins. And then when you take a step back and look at it, though, when you got a guy like Denny Hamlin who's approaching 60 career wins, and all of those for the most part have been in a Toyota, if not all of them. Guy like Kyle Busch with 63 career wins, and a majority of those with Joe Gibbs Racing. And you look down their roster, and then the other teams, Martin Truex Jr. when he raced before they moved to JGR. So there's been some success, but Joe Gibbs Racing has certainly been the anchor of that success over the years.
Josh, are we getting to a point, since Denny comes off this win now, that this is his year? He's got to finally come through and win a championship, or do we start looking at him as a guy that probably will never win a championship?
I think if there's a year where he's got an opportunity, this is as good of a chance as he's had. Certainly he has a lot of things that he's got to balance when you think about being a driver, being a team owner, all the off-track stuff. He's got his podcast. I did hear something this week about, how Denny has kind of taken the fact that he's got so much going on off the track, and he's cut out some of the things that maybe, were playing golf or other things in the past that maybe he still will do in the off season, but he's really focused his time in on being the best driver, the best team owner, that he can be. And I think you're seeing that. And I think there is something just, to be said. We got a lot of young talent in the sport, but the veteran in him, he's certainly making a case that he's going to be one if he can get to Phoenix to watch out for. And I think he's also at the same time seems to be content with, the number of wins he's gotten, the Daytona 500, all the other races he's won. Does he want to win a championship? Absolutely. Is he going for it? Yes. Is it going to make or break his career? I don't think he's going to judge his success or failure based on a championship. But there's a very good chance he could get it this year, and you won't have to worry about that conversation.
Well, no, a lot of people are pulling for him. So with the nature of Bristol, under the lights for the playoff guys, as crazy as it might be, besides those who need to get a win to cement their spot in the next round, do you think that if you're already up there in good shape points-wise, yeah, you go for the win, but you think a lot of them just kind of play it cozy and just try to stay out of the way and not get caught up in stuff that could knock them out relatively early? I mean, you definitely want to be there at the end, but how do you think some of these – will everybody be going for broke here, or will some be laying back, you think?
I think early on these guys are going to be going after it. Bristol's just it's one of those tracks where everything happens so fast that if you try to play a conservative strategy, it could end up backfiring and you get into an incident or accident that maybe you're trying to theoretically avoid. So I think these guys, first and foremost, they're competitors. They want to win. The Bristol night race is still one of those big races in our sport that the drivers want to have on their mantle. So I think you'll have everybody going after it. If it gets, 2/3 of the way through the race and some of these guys that are in a comfortable position are not, they don't have a car to really contend for a win, yeah, you may see them be smarter with their strategy over the final, portion of that race to make sure they bring it home. But I think early on you're going to see everybody going after it.
Can we go ahead and buy our tickets for the spring race at Darlington?
Yes, you can. March 20th through the 22nd, you're going to be triple header weekend once again. Tickets are available at darlingtonraceway.com as always, or you can give us a call at 866-459-RACE. We're always happy and ready to start selling tickets as early as we can.
Any special packages right now that you've got out there?
For the most part, we're focused on our renewals for the fall race or Labor Day weekend race. We already did our renewals for the spring earlier this year. But you can save if you buy multiple races. You can save if you buy a full season package. There's certainly opportunities. As we get closer to the race, we'll have first responder military offers like we normally do. So keep your eye out on that. But yeah, the best way to do it, to be here for all of them so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Absolutely. Do we have a particular theme for the spring race at this time?
Well, I think, spring's always going to be about celebrating the history of the sport. As we get back, again, next year we'll be doing the same thing. So we got to start putting those plans together here in the next couple of weeks. Everybody's taking a little bit of time off from Labor Day weekend, and we got a couple of smaller events coming up at the track, but we'll be working hard on it as we get ready for 3 days or 2 nights or 2 days and 1 night of racing. Friday night truck race, Saturday afternoon. Although no TV times have been announced,
yeah.
I'm just speculating here that it's going to be a Friday night truck race that always happens, and then Saturday with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and we'll cap it off with the Goodyear 400 on Sunday.
Outstanding, Josh. Thank you as always, my friend. Have a great racing weekend over at Bristol, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks, Josh.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Josh Harris, president of Darlington. All right, we'll hit the break. Want to join in on the program? 888-898-2525 is the number. Got some other notes for you, some text messages as well. Aaron Judge just homered, by the way, and we'll be back.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there. South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff Program.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources, and we're visiting at the brand new DNR offices at the State Farmers Market. Major, tell us more about this place.
That's right, Phil. The Department of Natural Resources has a new office located at the South Carolina Farmers Market. You can find us at 260D Epting Lane inside the Farmers Market grounds. Look for the DNR logo when you turn off of Highway 221 in West Columbia, or you can always go to the App Store on your Apple or Android device and look for Go Outdoors SC. Download the app and you can buy all of your license needs right there.
Visit GoOutdoorsSouthCarolina.com today.
Heading down south to the land of the pines. I'm thumbing my way into North Carolina, staring up the road and pray to God I see headlights. I made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. Say, rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, anyway.
All right. Yeah, Aaron Judge just passed Yogi Berra on the Yankees' all-time home run list. I think he's up to number 5.
That's a shame.
With his home run tonight. Yankees playing some good baseball right now. Leading the Tigers 1-0. So a couple of other things here.
Who is the all-time Yankees leader in homers?
I think it's a guy named Babe Ruth.
That's right.
Good Lord. Okay.
There we go.
Let's cut that from the tape. We don't want that in history. We don't want that.
Who's buried in Grant's tomb?
Even though what did Ruth hit? 714 home runs? Yeah, 714. 714.
714. That's right, because Aaron's 715.
But not all of them, of course, were with the Yankees. He hit a couple of hundred with the Red Sox, like a couple of hundred and something with the Red Sox, I believe. So he had like 500 and something with the Yankees. All right, let's see. I wanted to mention this. Back to the golf scene. A lot of the golf teams getting their seasons underway. Looking forward to that tournament over at here in Columbia at George's place when they have the teams, South Carolina, Clemson, other teams playing there. That's going to be a lot of fun. Latter part of this month, the Cougar Classic. This is a women's tournament appropriately named. No, it's named for the College of Charleston Cougars, not the Cougars on the golf team. You heard that? Come on, Bergie. You heard that, didn't you?
I did.
Maybe we should cut that one out, too.
Move on.
This is the College of Charleston Cougar Classic, not necessarily related to the players. But Ole Miss wins it at 18 under par. Tennessee was second. Clemson came in fifth at 3 under par. And the College of Charleston came in sixth. And so that wraps up the golf coverage tonight as these tournaments are getting underway, though we'll keep an eye on the Annika as it's played out with the South Carolina women. Some text messages here. This is from Bobby in Georgetown. Let's see, let Sellers run the ball. Let Sellers run the ball. Shula is holding him back, and Sellers is best running back and now has asked for more opportunities to run the ball, in my opinion. That's why we lost the bowl game. Cut him loose. Well, you might as well. I mean, that'll take, you know this as well as anybody, Bergie, an effective running quarterback will take some pressure off your offensive line.
There's no doubt.
And that offensive line needs to have some pressure taken off of him. Let's see here. This is from Ray, I think. Talking about Sellers running the ball. He's going to end up getting hurt. He hasn't played a whole season in a while. Be careful what you wish for. Okay?
That's fair.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the risk. That's the risk you run when you put your quarterback out there and you expose him to running the football. But if he went to the OC and said, run me, run him. If that's what he said. If he asked for it, deliver him the goods and let him cut it loose. Of course, that Vanderbilt will be waiting for that. And, of course, the other thing is Vanderbilt, their defense, they are used to seeing a mobile running quarterback in practice every day.
Right. But it's going back to our conversation earlier about Lamar Jackson. He's going to run.
Yeah.
It's an entirely different thing altogether to try and tackle him, though.
This is true. And the same thing with Sellers. I mean, if he gets a crease and he and he hits high gear, he is tough to bring down. All right.
Just ask the Virginia Tech guy who tried to tackle him at the goal line. He trucked in.
Oh my gosh, he looked for him. He looked for contact.
He did. He ran right at him.
I mean, that was pretty spectacular to be. But the thing about this, as we talked about last night, this South Carolina offense, outside of that drive to open the season, I mean, that's been their most impressive 5 minutes of play, wouldn't you say, as an offense, the first 5 minutes of the season?
Oh, well, there's no doubt that was a highlight reel type drive. I mean, that's the one you show every time you want to say this is what we want to look like. Keep in mind, though, excuse me, they did have like a 13-play drive in that game as well against Virginia Tech and kicked a field goal, I think, off of that drive. So, but in terms of just quickly down the field punching it in, yeah, that was by far their most impressive, their most precise, and they're easily their most dominant offensive series they've had so far this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so tomorrow night we'll have more leading up to South Carolina, Vandy, Clemson, Georgia Tech, the other games around the state. Be talking about that. We'll have an edition for you of Chalk Talk with our special guests substituting for Coach Chuck Reedy, who's on a 2-week hiatus. He's gone down to one of his island homes, I think, or maybe one of his mountain homes. It will be the great Rick Sanford, number 25
nice.
on his
Excellent.
back, number one on your draft list. Number 25 on his back, number 1 on your draft list. So he'll be sitting in to go with Ellis Johnson tomorrow night.
Now that'll be fun.
And you're heading over to Coastal tomorrow to hear from Tim Beck.
As they get ready to take on East Carolina. And in the interim, I'm going to go look up this guy. You said Babe Ruth. That's his name?
See if you can look him.
See if I can find some stuff about him.
Why don't you Google him? All right, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.